SynergyPWR viewers across the world, welcome to SynergyPWR People's World Racing, and we are here for round number 2 of Season 5. Welcome to the Bahrain Grand Prix. Onwards to qualifying Q1 at the moment with a full lobby of 20 drivers, all eager to get going here. Currently on board at the moment with M&M's 454, Division 2 for Mercedes. One hell of a session ahead of us though, because if time trial's got to go anything about it, at the moment the drivers are impeccably close in SynergyPWR tonight, and one thing's for sure, it's going to be one mighty ride indeed. The drivers going out of their way to race as hard as possible, and for sure it's going to end up becoming a seriously competitive event in SynergyPWR tonight. I'm looking forward to being here. It's Jota on my own tonight for this event here at Bahrain. Going to be a very, very interesting session indeed though going ahead, and we are looking forward to this one as M&M's just coming across here what seems to be on a fast lap at the moment, as he just puts it down into zero actually, just to come in after that particular session. Q1, obviously the bottom 5 get knocked out at the moment, 6 people yet to set a lap at the moment, so it's pretty imperative that the drivers get on with the session. Of course, 10 minutes to go, 6 people yet to set a lap at the moment. You've got Sufyan, you've got Chess Kingsman, you've got Bailey Dog, PWR, Verline, AMS Dan, that's last week's winner in Division 1, and Paul Davey. You may notice slight change in the roster as well. Was originally known as Mong Dog, now as Bailey Dog. That's because his name got forced to be changed by the by Xbox instead. Apparently his name was against their terms of service, so he had to change it. And what he described as an end of an era, having so many years, I believe it was over a decade, of Mong Dog. As we're on board with Cookie as he just comes into the pits. And this Cookie will be looking to try and get a far, far better qualifying session. And a far better full race weekend, in fairness, because it was not the best race weekend at all from the Season 3 champion. Oh, there goes the stream. There we go. Oh my goodness me. We'll get there eventually. There we go, back up and running. We do have, though, an amazing session ahead of us. Thank you for every single one of you tuning in for this Bahrain Grand Prix. Looking forward to being here at Sakhir. Of course, we're back here next week as well for the Sakhir Grand Prix. Running on the short circuit, as we're on board, following rather, Bailey Dog on his lap at the moment. And he was the Division 2 World Champion last season. He'll be looking to try and crown glory in Division 1 this season, but didn't get it off to a good start, Australia. DNFing at turn 10-11, one of a few casualties actually at turn 10-11. And he'll be looking to get a better race this session in the McLaren. And I'm sure if you're a Formula 1 fan, you've definitely seen the amazing new McLaren Mercedes. Looks exactly the same as the 2020 McLaren, but indeed we're now with a Mercedes power unit in the back, and they've just released onboard footage of Daniel Ricciardo driving the McLaren, and I tell you what, having that Mercedes power unit in the back just really finishes off the look of that McLaren. The mighty one is just coming around the final selection of corners now is Mong Dog. Now known as Bailey Dog, heading down towards the final couple of corners. Penultimate corner coming up, late braking zone, heading down in 3rd or 4th gear. Tapper goes fastest in the Renault. And the Frenchman in the French car looking to try and capitalise on an amazing Season 4. The Division 1 McLaren is behind the Division 2 McLaren by 0.004 of a second. And again, that just goes to show how close SynergyPWR is essentially becoming. Indeed, very, very close stuff actually throughout the session indeed. I would love to know your thoughts as well across the whole of the SynergyPWR spectrum. If you've got any comments at all, feel free to bash them in the chat. and I'll be sure to keep going through this entire session with you. 7 minutes to go in this Q1 session at the moment. It's in a mighty, mighty close session indeed at the moment, actually. We have the likes of, like I said, Bailey Dog at the moment, only 0.04 of a second down on his teammate in Division 2. And Max Watson, absolutely flying as well, managed to win the Division 2 race at Australia last week. And currently P6 at the moment, 0.02 of a second down, believe it or not, on Lucas on Xbox. Division 2 driver in the Division 1 driver, sorry, in the Racing Point. But the man of the moment is Tapter, the Frenchman, leading the way at the moment in the French car, looking like it's going to be a very, very intriguing race indeed. And it's certainly going to be a interesting one indeed, and it's certainly going to be even more interesting with the moderator trying to take the helms of the station by popping their hand into the chat and popping their hand behind me as well. Appreciate that one. PWR Tom currently in the drop zone at the moment. That's the Division 2 driver. Currently in the bottom 5 of the 20 at the moment. It's going to be a serious risk. Richie is also out of the session at the moment. So 3 drivers yet to set a lap at the moment. We're 5 and a bit minutes to go. And this one, there goes a little break board for Verline. Bailey Dog, Mong Dog in the chat. Bring back Mong Dog. He wants his gamer tag back. I think you said it was over a decade, didn't you, Jamie? Over 10 years, potentially, of that gamer tag existing, and suddenly Xbox are like, nah, not having that. It's a shame. It's weird not seeing the Mong Dog name in there, but he's the man behind the Mong Dog name is still here, currently in P9 at the moment. Close stuff between you and your teammate at the moment as well. Definitely looking forward to that one. Still on board with Airline at the moment. Yet to set a lap time alongside AMS Dan. AMS Dan, the Division 1 driver from last week to win the race. And a solid 26 points as well, so he now leads the championship in front of the Season 4 World Champion Tapiter. I remember, of course, AMS Dan won the Season 3 Championship, the last of the 2019 game. And the number 72 will be looking to try and really, really power on here. Hamster retires from the session in the pits. He's had enough. He feels comfortable in P8. Of course, 4 and a bit minutes to go in this qualifying session. Bottom 5, as I said, getting knocked out of this session. Paul Davey yet to settle up, but he's just started. But Dan's coming to an end. They'll be looking to try and settle up if he can. Where's he going to put it? Straight into P7 at the moment. 210s. I'll get there in the end. Down on Max Watson, would you believe? On a mighty close stuff between them two in the race last week at Australia. So he's happy to retire in the pits as well. He feels comfortable. One person who shouldn't be comfortable is CT5 Plaz, PWR Plaz. Using his CT5 gamer tag, he'll be switching between CT5 and PWR probably throughout the season, as we have Sufjan actually disconnecting from the session. Oh, big snap of oversteer though for the Williams. He's not been able to get the power down as early as he wants to. That's really not what the Williams needed at the moment. Of course, he's currently in the drop zone at the moment. Down on the drop zone by 6.5 tenths at the moment. He's actually decided to abandon this lap, I think, because of that little sting. But here's Paul in the Alpha Tauri. Only person to not set a lap at the moment, so this is an invalid lap at the moment. So he'll be looking to have probably a couple of runs of this one if he does have the fuel behind him, that is. Lovely space helmet, though, for the Alpha Tauri. Hoonigan retires from P4 in the pits as well. He's comfortable. 100th of a second separating him from Sufjan. Mighty close stuff, actually, for 3rd, 4th, and 5th, as Verline actually managed to improve as well to P5 with that 25.797. That's 8 thousandths down on Hoonigan and 9 hundredths, sorry, down on Sufjan. 8 hundredths down on Hoonigan. As Richie Evans has also left the session as well, so it's bitterly disappointing stuff as well for the Haas runner. Paul looking to really put the power down, but he's struggling at the moment out there. You can tell he's just not able to feel comfortable putting the accelerator down. Verline retires as well from 5th. And also Plaz does exactly the same as well. Plaz from 17th, he's had enough. He knows he's not going to be able to improve, so he'll be starting no higher than 17th will Plaz. Tom still in the drop zone, losing the rear a little bit. There goes Paul, does a drift all the way through that corner, and that went very well for him actually, and apparently a purple sector 2 as a result. I'm not sure about that one, but very well handled from the Alpha Tower, who decides to, looks like he's going to have one final run up at this one and have another go. Going to be close stuff for the Alpha Tower. He'll be sure to join him in a few. Still the eventuality of a potential movement here, as Tom is just leaving the pits now, and he's left it very, very late indeed. And he's actually at risk here of not being able to set a lap. He's just started his out lap now, just left the pits with 1 minute and 20 to go. The fastest laps are in the 25s. So if he's not within that sort of 2 second barrier, obviously he's going to be in sort of lean and none with the electric. It's going to be a real issue, I think. Got M&M's on an out lap at the moment, as is Tom. And Big Michael Bray in the chats as well. Good evening to yourself. Again, supporting your best mate. Max Watson absolutely flying high at the moment in Division 2 as a reserve at the moment. Possibility even moving up to Division 1, because he is actually technically under a probationary for being a brand new driver here at SynergyPWR, so he could move up, where then he'll be earning big points in Division 1. He's just tucking it in behind Paul Davies, Chess Kingsman at the moment. Paul, 1 minute 37.7 for him at the moment. That's after that long drift all the way through the final selection of corners. It's a bit of a do-or-die situation here for the Alpha Tower. And the thing is he's got Chess Kingsman behind him as well, and that's going to be a serious problem, I think, as he just invalidates the lap. He's got 10 seconds to get round. He's just flooring it into the wall. That's not how you do that. Crashing on a purpose is unfortunately validated against it, SynergyPWR, so I'm sure the stewards will not be taking very likely to that one. As we have DC Gunner getting up on that curb, he's on an invalid lap as well, so he's going to be out. Tom is on a 1 minute 27.9, and he's still in this at the moment. M&M's also at risk, but he's 2.5 tenths down in the first sector, so we've got a serious risk happening here. So some serious risk happening between these drivers at the moment. Who's going to be knocked out first? Well, we know the first person going to be coming across the line will be M&M's. And the Mercedes will be looking to try and get something going. He's going a little bit wide. He's still managed to keep it validated. He's still lost time in the second sector. He's lost 1/4 of a tenth. Sorry, 3/4 of a tenth. And then heading into the final selection of corners, and the number 27 will be looking to try and improve if he can, but he needs a beast third sector if he wants to try and improve. Otherwise, serious risk. He's going to be knocked out here. He comes across the line now, and he can't improve. He's 1/2 tenth down on his fastest lap here, and Tom at the moment is 2 tenths up here, so there's a serious possibility if he's had a very good first sector, Tom could get himself into Q2, and M&M's will be the person that will get knocked out here. Richie Evans managing to reconnect. Happy to have him back on board. And number 2, Stoffel Van Dorn's old number in the Ferrari, though, will be looking to try and get himself into Q2. He comes across the lap time now, and it looks to me as if he's just not managed to do it. We'll have to see when it comes up on the screen. No, Tom is out. Did not manage to improve in the end, despite finding 2 tenths in the second sector. Shocking stuff for the Ferrari, but Tapter leads the way. That's the Season 4 World Champion. No surprise there at the top. 1 minute 25.3. Cookie is looking quick, though, at the moment. He'll be looking to try and improve after a poor performance at Australia. He is second. Suffian is third, and Hoonigan, after crashing out at just turn 2 of lap number 1 at Australia, will be looking to try and bounce back hard if he can. He's only 100th of a second down on Suffian. And then, crucially, Verline is only 900ths of a second down on Suffian as well. So very close stuff for P3 at the moment. But towards the back, you can see the people knocked out. Tom, Plaz, Gunner, Richie Evans and Paul Davey, who absolutely sped it into the wall. Mightily close stuff in this session so far. Very, very intriguing indeed. I'm looking forward to seeing how the rest of this session develops. But we do have a Q2 of 15 minutes ahead of us now for this session in SynergyPWR race number 87 in our 100th season of SynergyPWR People's World Racing. We will now move on to Q2. Would love to know what your thoughts are for this SynergyPWR session. Let us know in the comments below who you think your favourite is for pole position. We do have another 5 people, though, to knock out of this session. The question is who is going to be that person again, very intrigued to let you know, to understand, sorry, your feelings on that particular ground. But we do have 15 minutes of session to go here, and it's going to be a very, very intriguing one indeed. Back over to the camera now as we have Virtue Dan popping into the chat, actually, asking the question of what AMS Cookie is going to do in this particular session, and he thinks that he's going to bottle it. And that's exactly what Dan would say, though, because he's been absolutely spammed with all of the phone calls earlier to try and get into the session, because pretty sure that there's a bit of peer pressure in the party during practice. Mightily close stuff at the moment, but at the moment though we're just on board at the moment with Sufyan. And Sufyan didn't have the best Q1 despite actually getting up there into P3. He did actually spin out a couple of times. He also made a few mistakes as well in this particular session, so he'll be looking to try and avoid those kind of mistakes again. Just slowing the car down at the moment. And of course Q2 is where we start to see all of the people decide what tyres they're going to be on at the moment, and many would suggest it would be a medium soft race here, but a lot of drivers electing to start on the mediums, and pretty much a clean sweep bar 3 drivers, and that includes, but crucially, both Mercedes at the moment. Looking forward to seeing this one, and I'm not looking forward to all of the comments in there looking at my face at the moment. Quite surprising, some of the comments in there. Please leave it out. Just trying out some new SynergyPWR graphics. Definitely looking forward to showcasing the full moolah over the next few weeks as we start to introduce more and more into the streams. Of course, if you're watching this on a replay on YouTube, you can always pop over to our Twitch. It's twitch.tv/SynergyPWR. And you can watch these live and interact with all of the other drivers, as well as all the other fans, and of course myself, and as well the new commentator that will be sitting with us next week in none other than AMS Louis Fire. I like to have Louis on board alongside me as well, a very upcoming commentator with some amazing ability. Looking forward to being with him for that one at the Sakhir Grand Prix. As of next week, we're going to be racing at the short circuit of Bahrain. Surely an indication of some very, very fun things to come. Currently on board with Big Daddy Shaquille at the moment, though. One of the first drivers to get out there at the moment and have a go at this one. In this Q2 session, he is on the mediums. A couple of other people on laps at the moment. We've got the Red Bull of Sonic Super just coming into the pits, believe it or not, would you believe? So we've got the first racing point, I believe, just starting a lap. We've got an Alfa Romeo just starting as well in Chess Kingsman. We do have another racing point, actually, in Lucas and Xbox. Just going around. We've got the Alpha Tauri as well of Tom Beading, first person to set a lap. 1 minute 28.0 on the medium tyre, actually. Crucially, not a bad lap indeed. Shaquille smashes it, though. 1 minute 27.6. And the Haas driver of Max Watson, reserve driver for Division 2 as of present. Going around into the next selection of corners, keeping it steady. It's going to be crucial not to overdrive this circuit. It is a bit of an aggressive circuit, especially in the first part of the second part of the circuit, but you don't really want to take it too aggressively, or you could end up in a spot of bother. Just following Lucas on Xbox at the moment, the number 28 Racing Point, looking strong. He's going to be coming across the line now. The Racing Point, be known as Aston Martin from next season. 1 minute 26.878. Fastest of anyone so far. Good lap indeed from the Racing Point. You're not going to be following Max at the moment. He's actually getting a bit of a tow, actually, from the AlphaTauri of Tom Beeding at the moment. The lone AlphaTauri, of course, after the unfortunate death of Paul Davey after crashing it into the wall. They're coming across the line now. See where he goes. P2. 1 minute 27 exactly. A good lap indeed. Demise was the word I was looking for, in fairness, as moderator popping and say demise. I was looking for it, but I'll be completely honest with you, I completely forgot the word. Not embarrassing in the slightest at all to just completely not be able to get those words right. You know, just because it's not my job as a commentator to make sure that I know the words, the finest words. Currently on board with Hoonigan at the moment. Looking fairly strong, actually, as Hoonigan at the moment this season. To be fair, he's got the absolute outright pace. And he's showing the pace quite well. It's just at the moment he wasn't able to find that form or even get started with any kind of form, in fairness. After the incident saw him crash out at Australia. Board with Hoonigan at the moment as well. The yellow flag's waved at the moment for a slow car at turn 1. Looks like to be a Racing Point. In fact, it might have been a Williams, actually. Here comes Hoonigan. First lap he's going to set in Q2 on the medium tyre as well, so he's been looking to try and get towards the top, and he goes absolute Willy towards the top. 1 minute 26.693. Beating Lucas on Xbox by a couple of tenths as he just lets Verline through. It'll be interesting to see how the rest of the drivers feel here. Invalid lap currently for Sufjan. Invalid lap also for Tap. But the Division 2 Red Bull, Sonic on a lap at the moment. Maybe looking to just keep plodding on if he can. He comes across the line with a 1 minute 27.796 as his fastest lap, as he just starts on with his laps now. He's just gone a slow lap now. Relatively happy with that performance so far. Only crucial thing is, of course, is that he's not entirely safe because we've got some impeccably quick drivers still on laps at the moment. Crucially, one of those people, AMS Dan at the moment. The Alien Motorsport driver alongside Cookie. We'll be looking to try and set a continuous good lap. It's a big lock-up, though. That's going to lose some time, surely. He'll be looking to try and replicate his performance if he can from what he did at Australia. It was a mighty performance, actually, in that Alfa Romeo, pulling ahead of the competition by a country mile. Indeed, crucially, just a little bit of a lock-up will lose all of that time, and he's probably lost at least 3 or 4 tenths just on this lap alone as a result of that giant lock-up at the hairpin. As he looks to just keep the car steady if he can through the third sector, avoid the curb on the outside line with your inside tyres. And going into the final selection of corners here. And he does still go P3 despite the lockup. Really, really quick stuff from the Season 3 champion. And then Cookie comes in out of nowhere and absolutely obliterates that. Puts himself P2 with a 1 minute 26.843. So we've got 3 drivers in the 26.8s at the moment. Max breaching the 26s with a 27 straight. As we've got the unfortunate demise of the McLaren of Bailey Dog. Mong Dog has unfortunately crashed out in the third sector. And it's going to be a bit of a hot spot for a few spinners, we think. We did see that, and Tapita goes even faster, 1 minute 26.6, but can't beat Hoonigan 3,000ths of a second down on Hoonigan. It is mighty close stuff in this session so far. They're both on medium tyres, crucially, as well as Chess Kingsman in the Alfa Romeo screams ahead with the soft tyre, 1 minute 26.7, so good lap from the Alfa Romeo as well. The Division 2 Alfa Romeo as well, crucially. And the Division 1 Alfa Romeo, the Season 3 champion, AMS Dan, currently on a slow lap at the moment with a 26.8. Doesn't look all that safe, does he? You've got Verline just behind by under a tenth. Then you've got Max Watson on a 27 straight. 4,000ths of a second down is Sufyan. Then you've got M&M's on a 27.3. I've got no doubt Shaq and Sonic will find some more time. And I'm sure Tom and Hamster will be able to find some more time as well. So there's still 3 and a bit minutes to go here, and they're still not really decided here who's going to be knocked out, apart from the unfortunate demise of Bailey Dog, Mong Dog, who unfortunately crashed out just before the back straight in Sector 3. As Hamster has actually retired, of all of the things, he's actually retired in the pit lane. So both McLarens, in solidarity, decided to retire from Q2. Indeed, intriguing stuff. Not sure what the session compromise is there. We do have a bunch of drivers on laps at the moment. We've currently got a very slow Red Bull at the moment, an AMS Cookie. In the third sector at the moment, you can see he's off the track at the moment. And it looks to me as that he might be out of fuel. He'll have enough time to be able to get in and have another lap if he wants to. You should imagine his 26.8 would make him safe on the medium tyre. But he is currently out of fuel by the looks of things, so he's using his electrical energy just to power him along to the pit lane. That's number 88, Red Bull. Looking very slow and very steady as he comes back into the pit lane. But we do have a bunch of drivers with fuel in the car at the moment. A majority of them on outlaps. In fact, all of them that are currently out are on outlaps at the moment. Tom just in the first sector after leaving the pit. Sonic just about to start. But crucially, Hoonigan is on an outlap himself here, and he's actually on the soft tyre. He did actually set his fastest lap on the medium, but he is currently on the soft. So is he looking to change his strategy maybe to start on the soft tyre? That's going to be the crucial thing here. He may be looking into what happened in Australia. He had a pretty poor start, and Tapita managed to get around his inside. He had to go around the outside, and unfortunately did understeer into Tapita. It was deemed a racing incident by the stewards, and unfortunately he ended up leaving with nil points just after the second turn of the very start of SynergyPWR Season 5. But we are going again, and Hoonigan is now starting his lap. Be interesting to see where he comes in comparison with the soft tyre. Should imagine it will be around about 6/10 of a lap faster. Tapita chooses to retire. He is out of time to get round in enough time, of course. But Tapita has moved over to the soft tyre. He was on the mediums, but he has chosen to move on to the soft purely so he can get a little bit more pace and try and climb up the rankings. The Mercedes of M&M's and you would say Sufyan and Max Watson are currently at risk here. Especially considering in the first sector alone, Sonic was actually 6/10 of a lap faster. As we're just approaching now into these corners here. Going to be pretty important. He doesn't make any mistake here, so he keeps off the curbs around this upright-hander. And he is fastest in the second sector, and he's over nearly a second faster in the second sector alone here. You think that M&M's might be at some serious risk here. Max Watson chose not to leave the pits, and you think that if some drivers are putting on the pace here, he could be at risk. We'll have to see how he does here. Anyway, here comes Sonic Super. He's going to come across the line. Will he be able to get himself out straight to the fastest of anyone? The Division 2 Red Bull scores fastest of anyone with a 26.2. It's a good lap, actually, from the Red Bull. He'll be happy with that one. Hoonigan, though, looking to swap over to the soft tyre. He chooses not to in the end. He stays on the medium, so he'll be going second. As Tom Beading is also on a lap at the moment. Looks like Mox Watson's going to be fine. The question is will the Division 1 Mercedes struggle here? Oh, he's invalidated. coming around that Sector 2 line, and Tom Beeding will be finishing in 14th in this qualifying session. Really unfortunate stuff as well, because he was gaining buckets of time, and you suspect Sufyan will be breathing a sigh of relief after that one. Tom Beeding comes across the line and is knocked out of Q2. He starts in P14. Hamster will be starting in 13th. Bailey Dog will be starting in 15th. And Big Daddy Shaquille in 12th as well, a little bit down the order as well. He had a good Q1 and he's not had the best Q2. He starts in 12th, and then M&M's will be starting in 11th, and he'll be on a fresh tyre of any of his choosing, of course, along with the other 4 drivers knocked out. Sufyan will be breathing a big sigh of relief. 1 minute 27.004, and the 4,000ths of a second down on Max Watson. Could have made or braked his Q2 session, but he just managed to make it. But the man of the moment, would you believe it, is Sufyan. Is Sonic Super. I'll get there at the end with the names. He manages to go fastest of anyone. That's the Division 2 driver, would you believe, at Red Bull. So very, very good session indeed from Sonic Super. Has managed to get himself into first place, and he'll be very happy with that one. He'll be 4/10ths up on Hoonigan. Of course, everyone will now be on matching tyres, and the minimum fuel load for Q3 going to make for a very, very interesting session indeed ahead of us. Comes around the final corner. And the Red Bull Honda will be retiring probably in the pits. As he comes into the pits, retires his car, and will be heading through into Q3. So just awaits on Sonic to retire. There we go. And as a result of that one, we do have a very, very interesting situation here. Sonic Super has gone fastest, the Division 2 Red Bull. 1 minute 26.2. He's actually just under 5/10ths faster than Hoonigan. Make note, about 6 or 7 tenths between the soft and the mediums as well, so he's going to be right in there, you'd suspect. Actually, probably in and around sort of AMS Cookie, would you believe? After their collision at Australia, anything can happen, and it usually does. Lucas is in 6th, Dan is in 7th, Fairline 8th, Watson in 9th, and Sufyan starts in 10th. Unfortunately, the bottom 5, of course, M&M's, Big Daddy Shaquille, PWR Hamster, Tom Beeding, and Bailey Dog, after not being able to set a lap time for Bailey Dog as well, after crashing just at the Sector 2 target line. As we head through to Q3 for this particular session. Now, going to be interesting now. Who are your favourite for pole, ladies and gentlemen? And we're looking forward to understanding your thoughts and feelings towards this particular one. Would it be a Division 2 driver? It's potential. There's a lot of Division 2 drivers in this Q2 session coming up. Q3 session, sorry, coming up. 12 minutes on the clock. They start now, and we get going for this session here for Q3. Well, we got sad and weird in the chat, actually just asking the question of making no predictions, because they did last time, and then Spoonigan did a crash, and it might be cursed, to which Heatproof Ham follows that with Spoonie for pole. Pretty well timed messages between the two of them there, would you say? Full soft tyres naturally for everyone at the moment. The first person out straight away, actually, would you believe, is AMS Dan, the Alfa Romeo, looking to just get straight out there at the moment. I'm not wearing different hats for the stream. For those that are watching on YouTube who aren't watching the stream as it happens live, we've currently got the chat at the moment deciding what hat I should wear for the next stream, whether it be a fedora or a fez. A fedora or a fez. Going to be an interesting thought to wear a fedora or a fez. I might go for the Yorkshire cap. But I might wear the Yorkshire cap, actually. Let's wear the Yorkshire cap for the race. How's about that one? Following on board with AMS Dan at the moment as well, though. The Alfa Romeo looking to, as we said earlier, try and bounce back if he can from what was a brilliant Australian Grand Prix for him. And he just starts now, and he'll be the first person to set a lap. Question is where is he going to be on the soft tyres in comparison to everyone else? What hat will it be this week? Well, I'll tell you what, we'll stick with the Yorkshire cap for this week, and then we'll put a poll out on Twitter. If you want to vote on that poll of what hat I wear for next week, go over to @Synergy_PWR, give us a follow, and then we'll put up a poll. And we'll see what hat I have to wear next week. And no, Hugo, it won't be that certain garment. Or garment. I think I said a garment like it's some kind of... You know what, I'm not even going to continue on with this one. We'll just keep following Dan on his hot lap at the moment. The number 72 we're looking to just keep pushing on. Very good point, actually, from Bufam in the chat, actually, asking the question of, I can't remember the last time that we had a Q3 without either of the Tangerine Dream. That's a very good point. Both of the McLarens out of the session in Q2. We're not. Why is the chat going on about hat polls? So what's going on here? I suggested I didn't expect the full spammage in this chat now. Lads, ladies, gentlemen, and distinguished guests, there will be a poll at some point. It is getting quite concerned. Getting quite concerning, actually. We're going on board, though, with Dan at the moment. 1 minute 26.114. Tapped beats him by just under a tenth by the looks of things. In fact, over a second. 1 minute 25. Really, really good lap, actually, from the Renault. Really, really good stuff indeed. And we've got Hoonigan in P4 at the moment, still on a lap, but he's looking fairly strong at the moment. He's just coming through into the final selection of corners, and he'll be looking to try and power hard here. And he just put the power down a bit too hard, actually, going through that corner, losing the rear just a little bit, but snapping it back into place. And it will be P2 for him with a 25.8, but he knows he's got more time, surely, with 7.5 minutes to go. There will be a hat on during the race, don't worry. Don't worry. No, there's not going to be no propeller beanies hat. Desperate concern here at SynergyPWR as the chat is currently deciding what hat I should be wearing for later on. As I said, keep an eye out on our Twitter at Synergy_PWR. Give us a follow and vote on the hat poll of what hat should be worn for the Sakhir Grand Prix next week. We're going to be disappointed though with P4. I suspect Dan will be well down the order with a 26.1 at the moment. He's not happy with that one. Luca's looking fairly sharp at the moment, as is Chess Kingsman. And Sonic Super, the man of Q2, be looking to try and set and lap. Trying to keep it steady through a corner that he can very easily lock up on. And the Aston Martin will be looking fairly powerful. Hugo Larkin asking the question of whether I should shave my head if Max Watson wins. No, I won't. Took me years to grow this hair out. I am not letting that be shaved off all because of a race win. No disrespect to Max, I'm sure it'd be an amazing moment. Here comes Lucas on Xbox. He'll come across the line now though. P2 for the Division 1 Racing Point. Aston Martin 1 minute 25.556. Well, Max Watson 25.566. 1/100th of a second separating them, and then Amos Cookie 3/100th of a second down on Watson and 4/100th of a second down on Luca. So it's mighty close stuff at the moment between these drivers as Verline has just run out of fuel. So he'll be coming into the pits to get some more fuel in the car. Chess Kingsman will be down the order with a 26.5, and Sonic Super again invalidating laps and chose to invalidate this one. Oh, sorry, rather discontinue this lap. Come into the pits, try again. 5.5 minutes to go in this Q3 session. Favours all in head of Tapita at the moment. And Charlie's asking the question of how the divisions work. Thank you very much for asking. So, SynergyPWR runs a system where we implement a multi-tier system between Division 1 and Division 2. The two tiers race together, on the circuit, and they race for their own individual points. So whoever the highest placed Division 2 driver is will finish in first place in their tier and get 25 points. If they get fastest lap, 26, the extra point. However, when it comes to the constructors, the top 10 on track will only score points, 25 to 1 point. So it's important that the Division 2 drivers actually race with the Division 1 drivers, so then they can pick up points for their constructor to win the championship. So 2 drivers' championships, 1 constructors' championship. That's how we work at Synergy. And so far, I made for an amazing race at Australia, and I'm sure that we're going to have one amazing race ahead of us at the Bahrain Grand Prix here tonight. And of course, we've got Sakia as well next week. As we start to see people just now leaving the pits here for the final session here of SynergyPWR Q3 Bahrain. Race number 87 of what will be many races to come in our 100th Grand Prix season. Season number 5. And our last one on F1 2020 as well before we move on to the new game. As Dan pops into the chat to say, top tip, put the fuel to max, which might explain why he's cut 1 minute 26.1 in comparison to the other drivers. You go asking in the chat about what someone's favourite fruit is. Beard Boy asking the response with a potato. I need to say nothing else here. Fairline starts his hot lap now. 1 minute 26.0 at the moment, and the Williams is looking to try and bounce from what was actually a relatively good performance, in fairness. Despite the penalties he got, he actually raced quite a good race, did Fairline, so he'll be looking to try and bounce back at Bahrain with another good finish. Dan popping into the chat asking about what fruit. Well, it says I don't like fruit. This is response to what is your favourite fruit. He doesn't like fruit. Well, that explains the height. I'm sorry, Dan. I love you, really. Fairline on a lap at the moment. That was really mean. I'm really sorry. Here comes Fairline going into the final selection of corners. It's going to be a crucial lap here, actually, for Fairline, because he needs to try and improve from P7, because he's going to be slap bang in the middle of some intense action at Turn 1. Remember, Turn 1 is a very, very intense corner at the best of times, and when you've got everyone at lap 1 in that ground, you really don't want to be in the middle of it. P7 to P14 is probably the worst places you can be at a track like this one at the start of the race. And that's exactly where Fairline is at the moment. He'll come across the line straight to P3 though, will the Williams, 25.5. Another 25.5 driver. Look at that. Lucas 25.556. Fairline 25.561. And Watson 25.566. And Cookie 25.596. So very, very close stuff. Everyone in the 25s, and the close margins are really making up this session here. As we see Sonic Super just going to start his lap now. He's invalidated 3 laps in a row now. This is lap number 4 in Q1 and his last chance to set a lap here. Sonic Super just popping through now. It'll be important he sets a lap in. He'll be under a little bit of pressure, and I think he watches the stream as well, so I apologise if this adds more pressure to you, Sonic. It's not my intention. Chess Kingsman just getting out of the way there. Very, very well caught, actually, by Chess. It looks like he's not going to be setting any more laps now in this session, so he'll be starting no higher than P9, assuming Sonic, who goes a little bit wide going through the apex. Fairline retires in the pits. He'll be happy with P3 as it stands at the moment, but it is mighty, mighty close stuff. As Max Watson has got a serious hype train coming in at the moment. There's a lot of fans coming to support Max. Looks like be a bit more of a conservative lap here from the Red Bull. It's going to be fairly crucial he sets a lap. He'll be the last person to set a lap in this Q3 session. He'll keep it steady and conservative through the final couple of corners. As he floors it to the line, where's he going to put his car? 1 minute 26.2. It's only P9 for Sonic. Crucially, not the best course of action for the Red Bull driver, who wasn't able to set a proper lap in this session because he kept invalidating. That has caused a big loss in time. The next person will be AMS Dan. Coming through the final selection of corners now will the AMS driver. And he'll be looking to try and improve from P8, and he's put it into Max. Where's he going to go? Oh, he's put it into Max, but it's only P6. 1 minute 25.6 for him. He'll be a bit disappointed with that one. Sufyan is not going any faster, so he'll be starting no higher than P7, but Hoonigan could be coming out of nowhere to try and beat it straight to P2 with a 1 minute 25.4 as Tapita goes even faster and is into the 24s. 1 minute 24.952. What a lap from the Frenchman. He'll be happy with that one as Cookie comes in out of nowhere with that 25.0. He's not able to get into the 24s, and it looks to me is that we've got the Frenchman on pole. The Season 4 World Champion and the defending champion from Division 1 is on pole, but not by much. He's there by under a tenth of a second. Cookie just behind, and then Hoonigan and Lucas and Verline and Watson are so close between P3 and 6. Dan just behind in 7th, and Sufyan and Sonic were just not able to get their sessions going, and they'll be starting 8th and 9th respectively. But what a lap from the Frenchman. What a lap indeed from the Frenchman. He's managed to get himself onto pole at 1 minute 24.952 is a good lap indeed from the Frenchman, the Season 4 champion, showing his muscles. AMS Cookie, the Season 2 champion from Division 1 and the Season 1 champion in Division 2, is following behind on the 25.023. Hoonigan, who potentially will be a champion in the future in P3. A good lap actually from the South African runner. Lucas is in P4. Verline is in 5th. Max Watson is in 6th. Dan 7th. Sufyan is 8th. Super Sonic is in 9th, with Chess Kingsman in 10th. Short break coming up now. SynergyPWR. This is the opportunity where we get to see and have a little bit of a chilled out sort of few moments while the drivers just get themselves ready for the session ahead of them. They'll go get a drink, chill out, try and get themselves mentally prepared for that race, which is fairly important indeed. The chat blowing up in the background. Thank you to every single one of you tuning in for this race. We have a short break of 5 minutes. Confirmed time will be 8:51 to get going. The drivers will just sit back and relax. Question is who is your favourite for the win tonight? Surely the early favourites would suggest it's going to be Tapita, the only person to get into the 1 minute 24s in qualifying. What a lap indeed from the Frenchman. It was a very good one. Sadden Weir popping in, the moderator, saying that he's going to put his they are going to put their line on Spoonie in his performance last week. Was unfortunately a DNF after the second corner of the first lap at Australia, the first round of Season 5. He ended up unfortunately making a mistake, didn't he? And he ended up putting it into the wall. But other questions, I'm sure the Maxi Watson fan group is currently in there suggesting that they're going to put themselves in for the winner tonight. Chat's actually coming in with the suggestion of Hugo saying they likes to start a little bit further down the order for a challenge. It'll be interesting to see what that one. Bead Boy, I reckon Tom Beading is going to fly to P1 like a beast. Well, only if you miss your braking point, or in fact don't even touch the brakes going into turn 1, Tom. Dan popping it in saying that it's a big bottle. We'll have to see though, to be fair. It wasn't the best qualifying from the winner of the Australian Grand Prix last week. But he will be in there. He is fighting in and around that area towards the top. And of course, if the space is there, Dan is known for going it. The Season 3 World Champion will be looking for it. It's Maxi Watson popping in himself to say that, to ignore him. Trying to start a hype train, Max. You got to support it. You have to support it. Oh my goodness me, I'm not even going to go down on that path then. We'll continue onwards though, but it's going to be an interesting one. I think Tappert is certainly going to be in there, isn't he? I think Hoonigan is going to want to try and bounce back from that horrible start in Australia, so I think there's going to be a real opportunity for him to go out of his way and really, really crack down on a cracking performance here at Bahrain. And of course they're going to be here for Sakhir next week, of course, for their short circuit layout. And Dan popping in as well. The last race that he'll be doing at the age of 16 years old is his birthday, of course. After this race, many happy returns to yourself. Oh, it's 17 tomorrow. Oh, happy to hear that one. Happy to hear that one, Dan. But yeah, you got to look forward to the race. Got to be probably a close one going into turn one. That close indentation of turn one is going to be a mighty, mighty close race ahead of us. We're going to have the tight turn one corner where if anyone goes to that dive down the inside, they're certain to lose front wing. Remember, SynergyPWR runs simulation damage, and as a result of that, one could end up getting into a little spot of bother if they end up having even the slightest of collisions. And of course, Hoonigan will be one that will be very, very aware of the casualty of being in that particular situation. It's going to be a very, very close call. Heatproof Ham in the chat as well, the Division 2 driver for McLaren. I do not feel comfortable with tyre wear, feeling I'm a kiss a wall. Try not to do that one, there may be many germs. Indeed, it's going to be an interesting one. Sonic actually saying P1 in Q2. I don't know about Q3 actually. It's a little bit earlier up in the chat box. You've got he doesn't really know why he couldn't find the pace in Q3. It looked to me as if he was a bit more conservative on his final Q3 lap, where everyone else obviously was able to go full out because they were able to set and lap. Unfortunately, Sonic wasn't able to do so after invalidating his first few laps, which is really unfortunate stuff. M&M's thinks that he'll crash on lap 1. Nah, just do your best. Exactly what the moderator says. Probably not the best place to announce that you're going to be breaking early into turn 1 in the chats, but we do have 20 seconds to go for this Bahrain Grand Prix, round number 2 of Season 5. SynergyPWR will be back very shortly. SynergyPWR viewers across the world, welcome to SynergyPWR People's World Racing, and we are here for round number 2. This is Season 5, the Bahrain Grand Prix. SynergyPWR People's World Racing is back for its 100th Grand Prix season, and it's Jota looking forward to being here with you for this Bahrain Grand Prix, and indeed a very intriguing qualifying it was. We did have a very, very close quarters qualifying session between a bunch of drivers, and in the end it was Tappert who managed to lead the way and managed to grab the pole position that he required to get started with this race. Tappert, the Frenchman, leads the way, and he starts P1 alongside AMS Cookie, and Hoonigan in P3, who'll be looking to bounce back after what was a very, very, very poor start to his season, crashing out at turn 2 and after a mistake there. Lucas on Xbox, Fairline, Watson, AMS Dan starting in 7th as well, wasn't able to get going and described his qualifying as a bottle job. He starts in 7th with Sufyan in 8th. Sonic also wasn't able to get the best of qualifying. He starts 9th, and you've got Chess Kingsman down in 10th. And the bottom 10, you've got AM&M's 454 starting in 11th with Big Daddy Shaquille in 12th. Hamster and Tom Beading got into a collision during this formation lap. They are 13th and 14th and will have colder tyres. Bailey Dog in 15th after crashing out of Q2, heading around the Sector 2 corners. It was not the best indeed from Bailey Dog. He starts down the order, and then Tom Plaz, Gunner in 18th, Richie Evans in 19th, Paul Davey wasn't able to get going in Q1 at all. He starts in 20th place. Drivers, all of them getting themselves ready for this particular race. It's going to be an interesting one. This is season 5, round number 2 at the Bahrain Grand Prix. I'm looking forward to being there with you every step of the way. The drivers are now lining up on the grid. And with the drivers lined up, we're going to be counting down the lights. It's 1, it's 2, it's 3, it's 4, and it's 5 lights. It's 5 lights, and they are a go. The drivers here, they are. Tabata gets a very good start, and Cookie equally manages to do so, and actually manages to get less of the wheel spin going off the line, and as a result might have a good dive going into one. Some more dives at the back with the Mercedes getting into a little bit of a mix, but everyone seems to get through fairly cleanly, as Cookie and Hoonigan getting into a bit of a scrap here between them two here, and we're going back on board with Hoonigan at the moment, who's looking to try and get a good toe, maybe going down the inside of AMS. Cookie chooses not to, though, going into turn 3. And the Ferrari just stays back behind there after, of course, a big collision between the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc, would you believe it, and Sergio Perez and Max Verstappen back at the Bahrain Grand Prix in 2020. No such situation happening here, though, as we've got Max Watson in 5th place, managing to gain a position himself, Dan gaining 1, and Sonic getting in a bit of a scrap as well with Verline at the moment, as them two scrapping really hard. Remember, Sonic is Division 2 driver, and Verline is a Division 1 driver, so these guys are battling for position just purely for their constructors. The driver standings remain unaffected depending on their particular position, as we've got Sonic actually getting into a little bit of a scrap here with AMS Dan, and he goes around the outside of the end of the DRS straight, and he's making heads and tails of those soft tyres at the moment, looking fairly sharp, and it's going to be an immense battle around the outside as well. Oh, they've collided, and he's straight into the wall, and he has no front wing at all, does the Red Bull of Sonic Super. That was an immense collision between him and the Alfa Romeo of AMS Dan. He has no front wing at all, and he's going to have to pit. Surely he's going to break a lot early and let a lot of people through, but it's going to be mighty close stuff, and everyone is going to get impeded as a result of that one, but it will be straight to hard tyres for a Red Bull. Oh, nearly getting into the collision there with the McLaren of PWR Hamster. He's into the pits. Yeah, seriously close stuff there, wasn't it, between AMS Dan and Sonic Super, and the two drivers are of opposite divisions. They're not racing with each other on track purely for points in the drivers, but they are for the constructors. Therefore, there is no blue flags. They have to race each other if they want to secure those points for their constructor, and no doubt there, Sonic, that's his second collision in 2 races, is going to be very, very cross at the moment with AMS Dan, and surely he's going to be sending a pit. As CT5 Plaza's crashed, heading through turn 3, turn 4 in a collision, believe maybe with, was it Richie Evans? Not quite sure. No, it was the, looks like an Alpha Tauri actually, perhaps of Paul Davey, and it was, as he is struggling to get around the corners here. Has he got any front wing damage? No, he doesn't. This is simulation damage, and we are under the virtual safety car as a result of CT5 Plaz. You may have been intrigued about the racing that actually happened at SynergyPWR Australia. We had, I believe, 3 safety cars between all of these drivers. It was a mighty, mighty race of 3 safety cars and a virtual safety car, but we're down to 19 runners as Plaz has crashed out at turn 3-4. Not sure if that's with the collision of Paul. It doesn't look to be. But everyone now slows down to 70% speed as the Williams is recovered, and the drivers will be getting themselves ready for this particular restart. And they can see the tyre strategy at the moment. Chess Kingsman is the only person on the softs at the moment, everyone else on the medium or the hards. They're heading down the straight now. Tapita, the Frenchman, leads the way as we go green again here at Bahrain. Virtual safety car out now, and the Renault is now free to go at full pace as long as he wants. He's actually managed to break DRS territory on Cookie, but crucially Hoonigan is still within the DRS territory of the Red Bull in front of him, and that is going to be a mighty situation for him, who's now managed to get past his old position that he did at Australia. Only a couple of turns and he was out. He's now racing proper. And I know Hoonigan is a very, very, very nice chap, but I'm sure he's going to be nervous in that car because he really does not want to continue bad form. He just wasn't able to get a form together in Season 4. He'll be hoping to bounce back for Season 5. Division 1 Racing Point. Luke's on Xbox in P4. You've got Watson in P5. Division 2 driver leading the way at the moment. Got no doubt that after his probationary comes to an end, he will be leading the way as AMS Dan has disconnected from the session. That's the Division 1 driver, the race winner of the Australian Grand Prix last week, has disconnected from the session. That's going to be dire for him now because his car is now going to slow down. As he's actually just popped into the chat to say that's this game, man. So it might be a bit of a game crash there. Oh, big slide though from Watson. Catches it well. Keeping a firm eye on this battle. Lap 4 of 29. Tapita gets fastest lap of the race. DRS is available now for the Ferrari. He chooses not to pop it into overtake though, so he's looking to just put a bit of pressure here on Cookie. And I've got no doubt Cookie is going to be feeling that pressure a little bit. No, he's not one for feeling pressure, but this is going to be a pretty close situation here. Dan managing to reconnect to the session, thankfully. On board with Tapita at the moment. Looking fairly strong is that Renault at the moment. A little bit of a mistake in the back from Cookie. That's going to close down the gap a little bit more. And Hoonigan is looking to be sort of biting the bullet here and trying to get closer and closer if he can here to AMS Cookie. It's going to be really close here. That's some seriously close stuff. Big lock up there for Hoonigan. And he's looking to try and put that pressure down on Cookie, but Cookie's starting to really begin that pull away here, but he is still in DRS here. Back on board with Cookie here, looking back actually, and you can see how close Hoonigan is at the moment. The number 88, the Season 1 Division 2 champion and the Season 2 Division 1 champion. Trying to make sure I don't get them mixed up. But crucially, we've not actually had any back-to-back same division champions yet in SynergyPWR. We've had 5 seasons and 5 different champions in each division. The question is can that be replicated by the Frenchman in first place at the moment, Tapita, who's on par to be able to take in the lead here at the moment after Dan is not having the best of races here, but he is starting to get close here to Wehrlein, and he's looking to make some ground here. He did manage to reconnect in and is looking to try and get past the Williams if he can. The Williams is off the track. He's trying to stay on that inside, but it's not going to work. Dan is up to P6. Good FND from the Alfa Romeo, and Wehrlein looking to get later on the brakes and put him under the pressure. And a bit of short shifting as well, actually, from the Alfa Romeo. It'll be mighty close stuff this, you know, because we're going to have Wehrlein on the mix in. A little bit of a train forming, actually, with Chess Kingsman and Shaquille getting into the mix. And you may end up having the Division 1 driver in P10, Tom Beading, getting into the mix. "19 drivers left, though. Sonic at the back now. After that major collision with AMS Dan. Oh, and a big lock up there from Dan. He's feeling the pressure at the moment. Wehrlein's getting in on this. I've raced with Wehrlein a few times. I know he's one to try and gobble up any particular situation like that where he wants to get straight onto it, and he is going to try and race hard here. Sector 2 and 3, yellow flags waved. That's for a spinning car. It's a spinning car of DC Gunner in the Renault. In fact, no, sorry, it's Bailey Dog. It's Bailey Dog, Mong Dog, who has spun the car at the same corner where he DNF'd in Q2. He's back up and running in P16, currently battling now with Paul Davey in 17th. CT5 disappointed after that incident. Not sure what happened to yourself, sir, but really unfortunate stuff between yourselves. Better luck next week for the Sakhir Grand Prix. We're back here at the same track on the short layout. Good battling happening here between Division 1 drivers, between Big Daddy Shaquille in the Racing Point. Pardon me, it's Division 2 for Daddy Shaquille and Division 1, I believe, for Kingsman. Oh, it's looking for gaps that just aren't there, and it is simulation damage. If he touched him too hard, that might be front wing damage. I think he's just got away with it. But you have to be very careful under simulation damage because that front wing could go flying, and I think one person that will be recognisable of that one is Sonic Super. He should imagine his race should have been finished after colliding into that wall at the speed he did, but he just lost his entire front wing, thankfully. Oh, so much later on the brakes, isn't he? And Shaq looking very, very close for trying to make a move here for P8. Shaq wants this. You can tell he's staying on the back of AMS Dan here. The race is not over as we've got a Hamster at Hamster. The other McLaren has now spun at the same corner as well. Oh, nearly getting into a little bit of a mix with Richie Evans at the moment as well, crucially. These two battling so hard at the moment. Bailey Dog managing to get past Richie Evans here. It's a battle happening here as Chess Kingsman has now entered into the pit lane. Crucial stuff there. And so the soft tyre runner has now come in now, and he's probably going to go to the end now on a set of hard tyres. The medium tyre runners, on the other hand. Right, no, tell a lie. He's actually coming for a medium tyre, so potentially a two-stop for the Alfa Romeo of Chess Kingsman. The Division 2 Chess Kingsman, that is. Division 1, AMS Dan. He's currently battling with Division 1, PWR Wehrlein. For those of you joining us for the race, if you're a bit confused about what I'm saying by Division 1 and Division 2. The 10 drivers on each division, 20 drivers in total. 10 drivers are racing with each other, the other 10 are racing with the others. And there's 2 sets of first places to be handed out, one for the highest place Division 1 and one for the highest place Division 2, and then downwards. But crucially, the top 10 are only decided for the constructors, so you have to be in the top 10 if you want to get a constructor's spot. And you see the lockups happening for Dan at the moment. He's actually really struggling in the end of that second and the beginning of the third sector at the moment. It's going to be bitterly disappointing if this goes wrong. He's going to go a little bit later on the brakes. His Wehrlein is looking fairly strong for a potential overtake here. He's got plenty of DRS available at his disposal. He is popping it into overtake, and the DRS is now available for the Williams. He may make the move now, going upon that inside of the corner. And here comes down the inside PWR Wehrlein, and Dan, the winner of the Australian Grand Prix, has now been overtaken again for 7th place, but he is looking to get the switchback and maybe get on the racing line to have the switchback again. What a move side by side between these two, between turn 2 and turn 3, and Dan's back in front. What a move from the Alfa Romeo. Good switchback. Goes around that outside of Wehrlein at turn 3. What a move from the Alfa. Great moves happening here. Max Watson, the highest place Division 2 driver, reserve at the moment, looking more and more like with every race that passes he's going to be a Division 1 driver at the end of this. Of course, that all gets decided at the end of the Sakhir Grand Prix. Mighty close stuff here. Max Watson looking fairly strong at the moment in Division 2 as a Division 2 reserve, rather. Surely going to be a Division 1 driver at the end of this season. Some intense battle in there as we now have another spin, and there goes Bailey Dog, unfortunately getting into a spin again out of the same corner where we saw him crash out in Q2. He's now out of the race fully. And McLaren leaves again with Nil Poir, the Division 1 driver, recently promoted from Division 2 as champion, is out of the session, and we're down to just one McLaren at the moment, and that's Hamster. Call themselves the Tangerine Dream, but it's been a nightmare for these two drivers so far this season. And Hamster only just managed to evade the big incident between Cookie and Sonic, the two teammates. As we have a bit of a swap here, and it looks to me as if Tapiter has made a big mistake here, because he's actually down to P3. He was leading the race at one point, but he's made a big mistake. He's now down to P3, and Cookie now leads the race with Hoonigan in second. An uncharacteristic mistake, from the Division 4, the Season 4 Division 1 World Champion. So Cookie now leads this race with Hoonigan in second. Tapiter is in third. And we've got Lucas on Xbox in P4 at the moment. He's a bit of a dark horse here because he's not really been using his tyres as hard compared to the other field. He's actually now just entering the DRS territory of Tapiter, would you believe? So he's currently struggling as well. is Tapita. And Hoonigan is maybe looking for a little bit of an overtaking opportunity here. He's not in overtake, though, crucially, whereas Cookie might be. He's putting him under pressure, and he may go for the dive going down the inside of turn 1. And Hoonigan now leads this race, but they're side by side going through turn 2. And Cookie will then take the lead back as they collide. And Tapita tried to get into the mix here in the Renault, but here comes down the inside. Hoonigan manages to take P1, and the Ferrari now leads, but around the outside will go Cookie, but he's locking up, and he's invited the Frenchman down the inside, but he can't get the traction down. Tapita stays in P3. Hoonigan leads the race, but Cookie goes around the outside of turn 5, and he's trying to get in there. Cookie goes wide. Hoonigan losing the rear. Oh, they've collided. Have Cookie and Hoonigan, and Tapita now takes the lead of the race. He's got into the curb, and that's not the first time we've seen him do it this season. Hoonigan now has major front wing damage. He's now battling here with AMS Cookie down the inside line. He won't be happy either. Hoonigan going deep into the corner with all of that major front wing damage. Lucas is in P2, and Tapita now leads this race. Lucas doesn't know what he's done there. He's just kept himself calm and collected and stayed out of the battle, and now he's on the podium. Is the Division 1 Racing Point. Good effort from him so far, but Hoonigan has made a mistake getting up on that curb. He's planted it too hard, and he has spun it into Cookie. They both have front wing damage, and now they're going to be pitting a lot earlier than I think they really wanted to. Very, very unfortunate stuff for the South African driver Max Watson in P4 as a result of all of this as well. And Hoonigan is staying out. I don't know why he thinks that's a good idea, because it is severely not a good idea. He's missing an end plate at the moment, so he'll be losing easily 6 to 7 tenths a sector, you would suspect. In fact, he's fairly lucky to just get away with sort of yellow front wing damage, actually. Cookie is in the pits, though. He is changing his front wing. I've got no doubt that the Ferrari will be looking to do the same here, but he's going to be losing buckets of time here to Tapita and Lucas. And crucially, Tapita, oh, there goes Lucas. He's lost the rear going through turn 3, turn 4, and Hoonigan is now back into P2, would you believe, with that major front wing damage. Oh, and there goes a little bit of a collision again between Lucas and Max, but I think Lucas actually ghosted in returning to the track. So now Max is now getting onto the back of Hoonigan here, but Lucas, the Division 1 driver, is looking to try and bounce back after that mistake he made at turn 4. What a topsy-turvy race this has been so far. So Tapita now has a 3-second gap, despite the fact he's struggling at the moment, because Hoonigan is holding everyone back because of his front wing damage at the moment. Max Watson, the Division 2 driver, is back on the podium again on the circuit, never mind leading the Division 2 race in itself, currently in P3 with Lucas in P4, and Dan is back up to P5 after all of that mishap with the disconnection. He's now back up to P5 and battling hard with Verline at the moment. And Shaq is getting into the mix here, as is the Division 1 driver in AlphaTauri, Tom Beeding, getting into the mix as well. Division 2 PWR Tom and Division 2 Mnums is currently in P10 at the moment. But Hamster is looking to try and get some points at the moment for McLaren. At the moment, he'll be scoring points for himself, but no points for McLaren. So he needs to get into the mix here. Going to be a very, very close call indeed here, as we do have pitting car, and it's Lucas who's now pitting off of the mediums onto the hards for the Racing Point driver, and that's opened up now the gap for Hoonigan, who, believe it or not, is gaining on Max Watson despite the front wing damage. Oh, apologies, no, Max Watson's actually overtaken Hoonigan. And as a result, the Division 2 driver is now going to be spitting out a load of dirty air on top of the damage that Hoonigan currently has at the moment. He's going to have to pit surely at the end of this lap and get that front wing change, because it's going to be dire situations for him, as a new front wing are now happening for the number 27 Mercedes. That's the Manums. As Sufjan just gets back into the mix. He's currently battling hard here, potentially with the Haas driver, who himself, Richie Evans, is currently battling with AMS Dan, who's just pitted himself here. Currently now down in P12. And Sufjan looking to try and get past Richie Evans if he can. And the Haas driver is still yet to pit, bearing in mind as well. Meanwhile, Sufjan is now on 9-lap old hards, has just managed to get past the Haas driver. The Haas driver currently just trying to score some good points here at the moment. He's doing a good effort actually as well in Division 2 at the moment. AMS Cookie on the hard time. I'm sure this is not the tyre he really wanted to be on. If he did, he's gone on it too early than he really wants here. Lucas in P7, you can see the difference between a front wing change and not at the moment, as AMS Cookie is now well down the order compared to Lucas on Xbox at the moment. You would suggest that he's a bit of a dark horse in this particular competition here, as we have Max Watson and Hoonigan both coming into the pits now to change their tyres, and obviously for Hoonigan it will be a front wing change. Tapita is staying out though, crucially, despite the fact what seems to be he's currently struggling at the moment on these medium tyres. Fresh front wing there coming on for Hoonigan, as suspected. Number 14 will now be leaving the pits. So Sufyan has retired from the race. He's crashed at the same corner that Bailey Dog did, and the safety car has come out. And the safety car has now come out, and that has really hampered potential position here for Tapata, because Hoonigan has spent half of his time in the pits behind the safety car with everyone at a significantly slower pace. Tapata will be coming into the pit lane surely to change his tyres. The question is, how much time has he lost compared to the rest of the field, like Shaquille, like Watson, like Lucas, like Hoonigan, who have all pitted, including Cookie as well, who's now right back in this race. Tapata surely will be okay, because the rest of the field, of course, are going to be under the safety car conditions at 70% speed. But Tapata has lost some time. That is the question. Has he lost enough time to lose this lead? Richie Evans pits for hard tyres, as well as DC Gunner. So they're now all pitting. Paul Davey has just pit for soft tyres, bless him. So he's now going to be fuming, because he's now going to be on a fresh set of soft tyres that he can't really use at the moment. So here's the situation. It's lap 13 of 29. We've had a virtual safety car, and now we're under safety car conditions. Tapata, the Frenchman, surely will be pitting now for a set of hard tyres to go to the end of this race. He comes into the pit, slows it and steady. He does have time available to try and hold off an attack here, potentially. He's 17 seconds down from Big Daddy Shaquille. 26 seconds down on Max Watson at the moment. Richie Evans, drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. That's not going to help his case at the moment. Currently in P15 at the moment. And Big Daddy Shaquille just entering the pits now. Tapta now just leaving the pits here. Here comes Max Watson. It's going to be mighty close. There's a bit of racing under the safety car potentially here, as here comes Max Watson, and we're just seeing the driver leaving the pits now. Tapata, so he maintains the lead, but only just. Max Watson in second place with Lucas in third. You've got Shaq in fourth, and Hoonigan is now right back in this race alongside Cookie in fifth at the moment. There's a little bit of an overtake opportunity there for Big Daddy Shaquille, as he's just come out of the pits for a set of hard tyres. As AMS Cookie going to be able to get past Shaq? He is, but only just. Their line is going to end up splitting between Cookie and Shaq. Shaq has gained big time as a result of this safety car. You can see the current situation here as AMS Cookie has been caught speeding under the safety car. He was back in this race, and now he's right back out of it again. He's going to be disappointed with that one, Cookie. I know him, and he's not going to be happy with that one. The form continues. He didn't have a good race at Australia, and it's looking to be a bit of a bad race here, potentially at Bahrain for the Season 2 World Champion. And he's already 3 positions down. He's already going to be losing so many at the end of this safety car period. Max Watson, though, the big gainer, up to P2 now. Lucas in P3. Hoonigan's down 1 in 4th. And Shaq is a massive gainer. He started P12, would you believe, but the safety car and him extending his medium stint has brought him all the way up to P6. And he's got a car in front of him that's got a drive-through penalty to serve. So even better for him. He could be up to P5. It's going to be a very good race here for Racing Point Aston Martin. Going to be very, very close stuff indeed now, with all the drivers now just collecting behind the safety car. We've got Richie Evans at the back. He's got to serve the drive-through penalty. Let's take a look at the penalty situation. You can see not many penalties actually handed out between these drivers. They've handled the track limits quite well. Paul Davey currently has 6 seconds worth of penalties. Gunner has 3. Tom Beading has 3. Richie Evans has a drive-through penalty. I believe has 2 drive-through penalties actually for speeding under the safety car, as Amos Cookie has the one that he has to serve at the end. In fact, he's trying to serve it now, but I think he's going to recognise here that surely he's not going to be able to serve his drive-through penalty under the safety car. He's now changing his tyres to a set of medium tyres. So he's looking to try and serve his drive-through penalty afterwards. Try to serve the pit stop now, then do the drive-through penalty. But he does need to complete that drive-through penalty, and he's going to be well down the order because he's made a second pit stop, essentially, with that drive-through penalty. He's going to come out just in front of Paul Davey. Himself has actually just pitted himself, actually, so it'll be DC Gunner he'll be coming past. We've got 13 drivers now in the queue, and I believe this will be the final lap of the safety car regardless here. So if these drivers can't catch up here, there's going to be a serious risk here that they're not going to be able to gain back. And the Zigzag boys all battling hard here. Bit of a weird race so far, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? We've got lap number 15 of 29. We're behind the safety car, and we have big gains all around. But big gain is probably the Division 2 Racing Point Aston Martin, Big Daddy Shaquille. He's made some big gains of 6 positions, up from P12 to 7 positions, actually, up from P12 to P5. So great effort indeed. As Lucas from Xbox has retired, he's crashed under the safety car. And what is a big shame for the Racing Point team, because they were going to be making some big gains under this particular spell because of the 2 cars. He's spun under the safety car and he's out of the race. So now we're down to 17 runners now. 16 runners for that matter. And Racing Point, we're going to make some big gains, but now they're not going to because he's crashed under the safety car. Ericsson did not hit him. And I have a feeling that we are going to be going again for this race. Or we're going to be behind the safety car one more time. I think we are, and that's because Paul Davey has pitted under the safety car on the previous lap, so we're going to be behind one more time. We are definitely getting going at the end of this at the end of the 16th lap, though, of 29, and it will be a 13-lap stint to the end. What tyres do people pick? Well, surely the medium tyre can now go to the end, and that's what Cookie's thought is. He'll be able to gain all that time and not have to pit again, but of course he's going to have to go through a drive-through penalty, so medium tyre is going to be completely useless to him, unfortunately, unless he can make up easily 25 to sort of 40 seconds, potentially. What makes up in this race, though, the Season 4 World Champion Tapter is now in the lead of this race after some big situations under the medium tyres. Wasn't feeling comfortable. The safety cars come out and helped him. Of course, he did have a massive gain on a load of people. Unfortunately, he's now lost it, so he's going to have to start racing with people again. The question is, will Max Watson, for the reserve seat, try his hardest here to gain the time and try and take the lead and take a victory for Division 2 tonight? It'll be the one and only time that a Division 2 driver has managed to win the race on track in a mixed division event. That would be a mighty, mighty event ahead of us if that were to happen. But he has to beat the Season 4 World Champion in Division 1. That is a tough ask indeed. 13 laps to go. Safety car probably coming in the end of this lap. And the safety car is now coming in this lap. We have 12 laps, including the 12th lap, including the first lap after the safety car, to take us to the end of this race. Favourite for the win, surely, is Tapper, but you've got Hoonigan right there in the mix. You've got Max Watson. Oh, he's collided into the back of Max Watson as Hoonigan. That's the second mistake he's made, and he's received a 5-second penalty for colliding with Hoonigan. It was not his fault in the slightest. Not in the slightest. And we're going to be going green again as he's still weaving on track. His Tapper 2 is leaving it until very last minute. And there he goes. And we go green again here at the Bahrain Grand Prix. And a 5-second penalty for Hoonigan for speeding in the pit lane. That is because he's got major front wing damage for colliding into the back of Max Watson, who now has a 5-second penalty for colliding with Hoonigan. But we still continue racing here. Surely it's going to get removed by the stewards. We will see. We have Big Daddy Shaquille now in third place, and Verline and Dan battling hard here for P4 at the moment. We're on board with AMS Dan as he's looking to try and hold back an attack potentially from PWR Verline, who's looking to go for the dive but can't find the space. Sonic Super getting into the mix here potentially with Tom Beading as well, as we have a battle happening between the two Honda Power cars, as he can't go down that inside, can he? And Tom Beading just having to hold off their attack for Sonic Super's P6. Tapter already pulling a 1.5 second gap to the Division 2 reserve driver Max Watson, now with a 5-second penalty that surely will get removed. If he doesn't serve it, the stewards will be very keen to get rid of it, because as far as I'm concerned, from what I saw anyway, it looked to me as if it didn't really do anything. Looks on Xbox disconnecting from the session after his incident behind the safety car saw him crash out. Very unfortunate stuff as well, because that would have been very big gains for Racing Point Aston Martin tonight. Amos Dan's still battling hard at the moment with Verline. You can see how intense it is at the moment between that battle for P4 at the moment. Remember, that would be a P3 Sorry, it'll be P2 and P3 in Division 1. As he's coming into the pits is AMS Dan. He's coming off of the hard tyres, crucially. Very, very interesting stuff. So now Big Daddy Shaquille is now the Division 2 driver, currently in P3 on the track, P2 in Division 2. So the Division 2 drivers are currently absolutely romping away with this race at the moment. They've been absolutely fantastic to watch. Wehrlein is the next Division 1 driver, currently P2 in Division 1, but P4 on track. Sonic Super is trying to breathe down the neck of Wehrlein at the moment, as well as defending from the Tom Beading at the moment, who would be on for a podium in Division 1 as it stands. And I'm pretty sure he doesn't actually know that. So if he's watching the stream, I'm fairly certain he's now going to be sat kind of bricking it at the moment, realising that he's going to be on for a Division 1 podium as it stands. Mighty stuff at the moment between these drivers. Has been absolutely fantastic to watch. Big slide for Beading at the moment, and Hamster looking fairly strong at the moment as well. Looking at the moment at P4 in Division 2 at the moment. P7 on track. And Tom now is the leading Ferrari at the moment after Hoonigan making that crucial mistake, crashing into the back of Max Watson. He is going to be livid for himself. So he knows he's got the performance and he knows he's got the delta in front of him to really, really push hard for a championship, but he's just not able to find that form. And he puts himself under too much pressure. DRS now enabled for this race. The interval's now starting to bridge out here, and the nearest person with DRS is actually Tom Beading on Sonic Super at the moment. Crucially, his nearest rival at the moment, would you believe, is the Division 1 driver, PWR Wehrlein. He's going for P2. We've got Tom Beading in P6 at the moment, currently P3. The nearest rival behind him in Division 1 is P13 AMS Cookie. So there is a serious possibility here that Tom Beading, otherwise known as PWR Clap, otherwise known as Strategic Herpes, is going to be on for his first podium in Division 1 after just 2 races. He said that he insinuated that he wasn't going to do well in Division 1 this season. Well, he thought wrong, but Hamster may have something to say here, because he is looking mighty quick at the moment. Currently P4 at the moment in Division 2. He'll need to get past Tom Beading for P6, which won't change the positions on their track for Drivers' Championship, but for the Constructors it is very important, because of course his teammate, that's Bailey Dog, otherwise known as Mong Dog, has crashed out of the race. It'll be fairly important here that he tries to make a move here, because Hamster is looking to try and make some moves and get into the mix here. He's got the DRS available though at the moment on the Division 1 driver in front of him. Crucially though, Tom Beading's actually starting to get close here to Sonic Super. Now of course, Tom Beading and Sonic Super don't necessarily have to battle here. If they're thinking about themselves, they could easily just sort of give the position up and go for the race here. But crucially, Sonic Super is on 17 lap old hards. This is a SynergyPWR event with simulation damage. If those tyres have been worn out to shreds here, Sonic Super is at serious risk of being in a spot of bother when it comes to punctures here, and you can see he's already struggling for traction here, and that could invite Beading and Hamster into this one. He's lost a little bit of time through that corner though. We'll go back towards the back though at the moment, and we have this battle here between Hoonigan and AMS Dan. And AMS Dan currently struggling at the moment. Actually was battling a little bit, and he's actually got front wing damage actually as AMS Dan. He was battling with Hoonigan just a second ago, but now Dan has front wing damage and he's not going to be happy here. It looks like there's been a bit of a scrappy race here between the Division 1 drivers, and I'm pretty sure they'll be having a few words with each other, as that's not the show that anyone wants here. People in the chat asking about removing penalties and whatnot. This will be discussed by the stewards on Monday night next week. So the stewarding committee will be meeting up, and if this is indeed if, Max Watson sends a clip into the stewarding committee to want the 5 seconds removed, they can have a look at it, but he has to send the clip in. Dan just popping into the chat, disappointed at the moment with what's happening on track. 4 times he's now been hit in this race. Really unfortunate stuff, as we have now some potential battles happening here, as Tom Beeding is trying to battle here with Sonic Super. But it's some seriously close racing here between these two drivers. It seems to me as if the AlphaTauri is starting to push the Red Bull along here. 18 lap old hards versus 7 is going to be a significant difference at a track like this one. You can see Sonic Super really struggling there. Oh, that's the internet really not helping the situation either. And it is a reprimandable offence as well, having a poor internet connection. The drivers send a clip in. You can get reprimanded for it. 3 reprimands gets you dismissed from the league until you can prove that your internet connection is stable. Oh, there's definitely some touch in there, and I think that is due to the internet connection, but that's inviting Hamster into the mix, and Hamster's usually one who's a little bit more cautious, but he's making a double overtake on these 2 drivers, and he's now up to P5, and he's on the Division 2 podium as it stands, but here comes Sonic Super still trying to get in front here, and his internet is really not helping, and it's a big collision at the back, and Hamster has collided, I believe, with potentially Sonic Super or Tom Beeding. That may be an issue with the internet connection. He is a steward, and they're still colliding between these 2 here. That internet connection is just not helping at the moment, and Sonic Super surely is going to have to back out of this one. The internet connection is going to cause so much mayhem, and he's going off the track. I do not know where the Red Bull is on circuit at the moment, but surely the stewards are going to be seeing multiple clips here of his internet connection causing some heavy impediment, including a potential collision with PWR Hamster. What a desperate, unfortunate situation there. He was on the podium at one point, and now it's dire situation as Sonic is now battling hard here still with Tom Beeding as they go side by side. DRS is available for Tom Beeding at the moment, and he's still trying to go down here. Sonic Super is later on the brakes, but surely more traction is now available for Tom Beeding. He's still on the power, and they collide again, and currently the internet connection is showing there's some severe issues between these 2 drivers. He's off the track, and surely Tom Beeding is now in front here as Sonic Super is still trying to get past here, and he's clearly got a lower downforce setup here because they're going side by side again going into the corner. Sonic has DRS available, I think. I'm not sure though, because he's lagging all over the shop. This is some severe lag at the moment. It's causing some severe issues here for potential racing as Chess Kingsman is trying to get into the mix here. Oh, they're going side by side straight down the inside. Hopefully this is not going to be sandwiched. They're going 3 wide into turn 1, and Chess Kingsman has managed to get into the battle and has now managed to overtake these 2 drivers. Hopefully not a collision. Oh, they've collided again with the guy in front who's managed to make a double overtake. Hopefully it's not going to be a massive issue, and Kingsman has managed to get in front. Tom Beeding and Sonic Super still battling hard here, and Sonic Super lagging all over the shop, but it looks to me as Tom Beeding has managed to make the move in the end. Wow. I've never seen that much interference on internet before, where it's just it's not major enough that, you know, you can clearly see he's going to disconnect any second, but it's minor enough that it's such a minor inconvenience for these drivers that eventually we got into a big situation there as we continue on with this race here. So unstable here as it looks like he's now battling hard. He's now down to P16 according to our screens at the moment. That's how bad his internet connection is. I think it's actually timed out the timing screens at the moment. We'll go back towards the front though, as we still have a battle happening here, and Verline now up to 3rd. Though crucially at the moment, that doesn't change the positions as regards to division. Shaquille is Division 2 driver, Verline is Division 1. So Verline is still in P2 on the division race at the moment, P3 on track. Shaquille is still P2 himself at the moment in Division 2. We continue on with the race though, still by Big Daddy Shaquille. We've got 5 laps to go, and it's such an intense race at the moment, isn't it? And here's Paul Davey getting into the mix here, potentially going to make a move here on M&M's. It was such an up and down qualifying session for Paul Davey. He wasn't able to really get going, and he's going to go straight down the inside line. He has the opportunity to make the overtake on M&M's, that he has done so. He's now up to P7, and what a race this may turn out to be for AlphaTauri. Now out of nowhere, it looked like Racing Point were going to get some good points here. Now it looks like to me that AlphaTauri are trying to get into the mix here. M&M's looking to try and get alongside, but the DRS helping out the AlphaTauri of Paul Davey. He's now up to 7th and currently on circuit, getting into the mix here of P4 on circuit and 12 points. A good effort from the guy who started in P20. What an effort indeed from the Alpha Tauri. And as it stands, Chess Kingsman in P5. He's in a bit of a no man's land at the moment. 2.5 seconds behind him is Tom Beading, and 10 seconds in front is Big Daddy Shaquille. So he's got his own little race to run here at the moment. He'll be happy with that one. Big Daddy Shaquille starting to get into this mix now as well. 1.5 seconds back on Verline. He's looking to sort of try and gain some traction. He did actually lose a couple of tenths actually on that previous lap. We'll have to see if that is a continuing trend. Here comes Verline. He's trying to close down the gap on Watson. Now remember, these two are still battling here. Max Watson will be getting P1 as it stands in Division 2. Verline will be getting P2 in Division 1, sorry. So an overtake like this makes no difference to the amount of points they get. What it does make the difference, though, is on constructor points, where Verline will currently be getting 15. He could be getting 18 if he makes an overtake on Watson. What's happening with AMS Cookie at the moment as he gets overtaken by PWR Tom. He's going to go for the dive down the inside, will AMS Cookie. Not the first time we've seen him do that, though. He did it in Australia and it made a massive mistake and collided with his teammate Hamster, now fastest lap of the race. PWR Tom just buying his time, though. Remember, these two drivers are not in the same division, so it makes no difference to the points they score, but of course when it comes to the constructors it does matter. Bit of a lock-up from Cookie as well as Hoonigan, and DC Gunn again into a mix, and there's been a collision there, and there is the disconnection. There is the disconnection involving Sonic Super. His timing screen has gone all over the place, a few collisions here and there. He's now disconnected from the race. Hoonigan now up to P11 on track. Currently P5 at the moment in Division 1. P4 to AMS Cookie at the moment, who's actually managed to drive a good race. He's driving a very good race actually on these medium tyres, and he's looking to try and get some traction, but a bit of a lock-up going through that final corner is going to lose him some time to the Ferrari of PWR Tom. Only 1 point as it stands at the moment for AMS Cookie in the constructors, but make that 2 as he gets past PWR Tom. But he's gone a bit deep, though, going into the corner, and that might invite Tom back into the mix. He's more than welcome to battle with him. It doesn't matter what division they're in, but he looks not to. So Cookie now getting a couple of points to Red Bull. I'm not sure where Sonic Super 77 currently is at the moment on the circuit. Currently, I think the timing screens are being a bit glitched, and we do have, you can see there for AMS Cookie, a front wing damage issue as well for Cookie, so now he's having to cope with that as well on top. What an up and down race it's been, and Sonic Super has now DNF from the race. He's retired in the pit lane. I think that is just a testament to his internet connection issues. He's chosen to, and Day Dan has also retired in the pits as well. It's a big shame as well, because he'd have earned at least some points, but that is surely now going to send him off the top of the standings. Would have managed to get P6 and 8 points if he finished the race, but he chose to just retire. It's a very unfortunate situation because he could have got some points to defend the top of the championship with 8 solid points, but he's chosen not to. Penalties really now starting to come in here. PWR Airline now starting to get closer and closer here to Watson, DRS enabled. 2 laps to go in this race. Still mighty, mighty close stuff. SynergyPWR People's World Racing. Paul Davey now losing some time and losing some positions. He is down to P8. In fact, pardon me, it's because he's battling at the moment with AMS Cookie, but he's managed to hold his position. And the Red Bull chooses not to go in there. And I suppose that's because of the front wing damage he's got at the moment. He's trying to battle hard here, but the crucial situation here is that Hoonigan is starting to get onto the back of this battle here. And because Paul Davey has held back Cookie here, Hoonigan might go for the dive going down the inside, chooses not to, but he's putting Cookie under pressure. This is for P4 in Division 1. And he knows he's under some pressure here. They're both on similar age tyres. And he's going around the outside. This is a bold move around that corner. He's going to make it work around the outside. What a move from the South African driver. Around the outside of the hairpin where you could easily lock up. He's through into P4 in Division 1. P9 on circuit. What a move from Hoonigan. He may not have the form at the moment, but with moves like that one, that is surely the sights of a world champion. That's probably got to be the overtake of the race so far. And probably the overtake of the race full stop, because we've only got a lap to go in this race. Tapita will be coming across the line very shortly. In fact, currently in Sector 1 at the moment, so at the end of this lap, he'll be starting his final lap to take the victory here. Paul Davey still in P8 at the moment on circuit. And he'll want to try and defend this here because he's going to be earning points for Alpha Tower. He'll see what he does. He's not going to fight Hoonigan too hard here by the looks of things, and he's staying as he breaks a bit early and lets Hoonigan through. He's still in P4. Now he's got a car in front of him as we've got some more battles happening here. As we have a spin out. We've got a spin out of Tom Beeding. Tom Beeding has spun out on the penultimate lap of this race. He was on for a podium, was Tom Beeding. But as a result of all of that one and out of all of the controversy that has been happening, it is currently stands like this. The top three in Division 1 is Tapita, Wehrlein, then Hoonigan. He has managed to get himself back up to P3 and he's now back on the podium. What a race it has been from Hoonigan, and very unfortunate stuff for Tom Beeding, who is now down to P5. 10 points for him at the moment. In Division 2 as it stands, it is Max Watson, Big Daddy Shaquille and Chess Kingsman on the podium as it stands at the moment. But on the podium on track, we have one Division 1 driver again in Max Watson. He's been an absolute star, and surely it's going to be imminent that he's going to get promoted to Division 1 as Hoonigan just losing the rear again. And I think he's now starting to recognise here he's under pressure to try and hold on to a podium here. One mistake and it could cost it all. He's had a few of them this race, but he's just managed to get back into P3 after a mistake from Tom Beeding. Maybe looking to try and get past M&M's as well, of course, if he can, because of course that is some extra points for Ferrari and the constructors as he makes the move past M&M's. Hoonigan now to P6. They go to the final lap then, and there's a 5-second penalty, remember, to add on for Max Watson at the moment. Currently he's just going to miss out on on P3 as it stands, or in fact no, he's going to just keep P3 rather, as Shaq is 5.2 seconds back. He's going to keep it by a second. Of course, it makes no difference if the 5-second penalty does get rescinded. He'll only gain P2 on circuit, but he's not going to gain any points in the drivers, but he will gain points in the constructors. Driver of the day performance, though, let us know who you think your driver of the day is. Hugo is part of the Maxi Watson fan club, thinks it's going to be Max Watson. Surely it's up there, but I'd be putting my hat up to Hoonigan. I mean, he's drove an excellent race to get himself all the way back up to P3 in Division 1, but it's Division 1 glory again for the Season 4 World Champion. Tapita wins the Bahrain Grand Prix. Max Watson finishes in P2. 5-second penalty yet to be potentially rescinded. He drops to P3, but PWR Wehrlein will take second place in Division 1 and first place for Max Watson, and P2 for Big Daddy Shaquille. P3 in the end for Chess Kingsman. It's been a good race from the Alfa Romeo, He managed to keep it quiet and keep it steady. He finishes on the podium in Division 2. Good effort. And a podium finish in the end for Hoonigan. He managed to really bounce hard after all of that controversy. He finishes in P3 P3 in the standings, and Cookie is not able to capitalise from a 5-second penalty that Hoonigan got for speeding in the pit lane. He finishes in P4. Tom finishes in P5 in the end for Division 2. It's P6 for Paul Davey, P7 for DC Gunner, and a very unfortunate situation for Tom Beeding, because he should have got P3, but in the end he finishes in P5 in Division 1. It's P7 in the end for Hamster after that collision with Sonic Super saw him crash out of the standings, and Richie Evans will be scoring some good points in Division 2 tonight. It is 8th place in Division 2 for Richie Evans, the number 69 house, just looking to have a bit of a laugh, a bit of fun. The old man of SynergyPWR will come across the line to finish with 4 points to his name, and I'm sure he'll be very, very happy about that one. Paul Davey getting driver of the day, and that's absolutely no surprise there. I mean, a magnificent performance from the Alpha Tower 8 to get all those positions from P20 on the grid. Let me know who you think your SynergyPWR driver of the day is. Big thank you to G Swift. Nice to see you again, buddy. OG of SynergyPWR currently in the chat. Thank you very much for enjoying the race and supplying your comments. Tapter wins the race, though, here tonight at the Bahrain Grand Prix. All you see there is PWR Wehrlein taking P2 overall. Surely that will drop to P3 after the 5-second penalty is potentially removed after that mistake from Hoonigan. But I tell you what, an amazing performance indeed from all of the drivers, regardless of who you think your driver of the day is. Tapter has won the race. He finishes first in the Renault after a one-stop race and starting on pole. Managed to get the complete clean sweep. Good effort from Tapter. He is the winner of this race with PWR Wehrlein in second, and Max Watson in Division 2 is the winner of his race. He finishes P3 overall, 15 points for the reserve driver in the reserve standings, but of course he gets 25 points for his amazing performance in Division 2 tonight. You've got Big Daddy Shaquille in P2, and then Chess Kingsman, P3, with M&M's in P4 in Division 2. Then we have P3 in Division 1. Hoonigan, it was such a mixed bag for him, wasn't it? He gets P3 with Cookie in P4, Tom in P5. P6 rather, sorry, and then you've got Paul Davey in P7. Rest of the field had an absolutely magnificent race from start to finish. Thank you very much to every single one of you tuning in for this amazing race here at SynergyPWR People's World Racing. I hope you enjoyed that race. It was a really, really good one, wasn't it? And we're back here for this same track again. We're at Sakhir for the short circuit of the Bahrain International Circuit. Thank you very much for every single one of you tuned in, and we'll see you next week for the Sakhir Grand Prix. But for myself and the rest of the team here, bye-bye for now.